Success happens to you not because you desire it.
Why are some people more successful than the others?
Success!
It's often the things we don't do that make the biggest difference. For every don't commandment, there would be countless others. Actions that people should avoid if they wanted to live a righteous life.
In today's episode, we're diving into the fascinating world of what highly successful individuals do. Our team has conducted extensive research, analyzing countless media reports, videos, and interviews featuring renowned figures like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs, and Warren Buffett. We've used cutting-edge AI technology to distill their wealth of information into a comprehensive list of top habits successful people avoid. Getting ready to uncover these secrets of success by learning what not to do. Welcome to Business Model Hackers. Again, this is a podcast where each week we're examining real-world applications and concepts and business frameworks. And Sam Schreim, a former top-tier management consultant, who went ahead and traded all the security of a lucrative career for the dynamic world of entrepreneurship, is going to break things down for you. So get ready to uncover the insights behind influential business decisions. Sam, why did you focus on the don'ts instead of the do's in your research of these habits?
Yeah, I chose to focus on the don'ts because in pursuit of success, it's often the things we don't do that make the biggest difference. Let me use a bit of a metaphor. And by the way, I'm going to use metaphors throughout this episode. And I hope it's not going to get too annoying to some people. But I think it's very important we use metaphors to explain and try and answer what's going on here. In the biblical story, God handed down the 10 commandments to Moses on Mount Sinai. These commandments were essentially a list of don'ts, actions that people should avoid if they wanted to live a righteous life. For example, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness. If God had chosen to phrase the commandments as do's instead of don'ts, the list would have been much, much longer, right? For every don't commandment, there would be countless do's. So in order to convey the same message. For example, instead of saying thou shalt not steal, God would have to list out all the possible ways one should respect the other's property, right? Like thou shalt ask for permission before borrowing. Thou shalt return borrowed items promptly. So the list could easily have grown to hundreds or even thousands of commandments, right? So in this case, when it comes to the habits of successful people, we, when the team synthesized them, and they, if you want to look at, the habits and compile all the do's, you probably would have come up with, 4,000 or hundreds of do's, right? That people always do, as opposed to those that when you use a don't, you include a lot of do's in it. So that's the basic idea. So for every don't habit we've identified, there could be so many do's that promote the same principle. So take the habit of don't procrastinate. That's one of the habits we will discuss. If we were to rephrase this as a do, we would end up with a list like prioritize tasks, set deadlines, break large projects into smaller, manageable steps, create a schedule and stick to it, and so on, right? So that's the idea. So that's why we're focusing on don'ts.
Now, you've shared about 40 or so habits with me, and I selected what I thought were the 13 that stood out among those 40. Do you mind if we go through them one by one?
Absolutely. Let's dive into each of these habits and explore why they're so crucial for success.
Can we go over number 13, which I found to be don't surround yourself with negative people?
Yeah, successful people understand that negativity is like a contagious disease. It spreads quickly and can infect every aspect of their lives. So they manage to keep a positive outlook by surrounding themselves with uplifting and supporting individuals who act as a buffer against negativity. Think of it like building a fortress of positivity. By carefully selecting the people they allow into their inner circle, successful individuals create an environment that nurtures their growth and success. So avoiding negativity is like weeding a garden by removing the toxic influences that can choke their progress. they allow their dreams to flourish and thrive.
So let's look at number 12. Don't forget to give back.
Right. I mean, frankly, I don't know any wealthy individual or successful individual that doesn't give back, at least in my inner circle. I don't know about you, but also from the people we hear in the news. You look at Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, they donated all their wealth to charities and the good of this world. So they often engage in philanthropy because they understand that true success is not just about personal achievement, but also about making positive impact on the world. They view their success as a platform for creating change and leaving a lasting legacy. Philanthropy is like planting seeds of kindness by giving back to causes and communities they care about. Successful individuals help create a better future for all. So when choosing which causes to support, you'd often look at issues that resonate with their personal values and experiences. For example, Bill Gates and his wife Melinda, his ex-wife Melinda at the time was his wife, focused their philanthropic efforts on global health and education because it was driven by their beliefs that every person deserves a chance to live a healthy and productive life. So by aligning their giving with their passions, successful people are able to make a meaningful difference in the world.
Number 11 on the list is they don't make excuses and they don't give up. What does that look like in this context?
Yeah, so they understand that excuses are like quicksand. The more you struggle with them, the deeper you sink. They overcome the temptation to make excuses by taking full responsibility for their actions and focus on solutions rather than problems. Think of excuses like a crutch. While they may provide temporary relief, they ultimately hold you back from reaching your full potential. One example of perseverance is Thomas Edison's who famously said, "I have not failed. I just found 10,000 ways that don't work." He viewed each failure as a stepping stone towards success, and his unwavering determination led to the invention of the light bulb and numerous other innovations. Another example is Oprah Winfrey, who overcame a childhood of poverty and abuse to become one of the most influential media personalities of all time. So by refusing to let excuses hold her back, she persevered through countless challenges and achieved remarkable success.
Number 10 on the list is they don't micromanage. What does that look like on this context?
Successful leaders understand that micromanaging is like trying to control a garden by pulling on each individual leaf. It's ineffective and ultimately stunts growth. So they would know that trusting their teams and, after careful selection of teams, right, having the right team in place and giving them the autonomy to take decisions is like providing a plant with the right nutrients and environment to flourish. When team members feel trusted and empowered, they're more likely to take ownership of their work, think creatively, and go above and beyond to achieve success. So micromanaging, on the other hand, is like putting a plant in a tiny pot. It restricts its growth and limits its potential. So by avoiding micromanagement, successful leaders create a culture of innovation and collaboration where team members feel valued and motivated to contribute their best ideas and efforts. So this not only leads to greater efficiency and productivity, but also fosters a sense of loyalty and commitment to the organization's success.
Number 9 on the list is that they don't ignore their health and they don't neglect their work-life balance. What does that look like?
I mean, success comes with understanding that health is the foundation upon which success is built. It's just like a tree needs strong roots to grow tall and weather the storm. We need a healthy body and mind to perform at our best. So when we neglect our health, it's like trying to drive a car with a faulty engine. We may be able to push through for a while, but eventually we'll break down. So poor health can lead to decreased productivity, impaired decision-making, and burnout.
Number 8 on the list is they don't succumb to short-term temptations. What does that look like on this list?
Successful individuals are like chess masters, right? They always think several moves ahead. They understand that short-term temptations are like shiny objects that can distract us from ultimate goals. It's easy to get sidetracked by instant gratification, but just like a mirage in the desert, it's often an illusion that leads us astray. By staying focused on the long term, successful people are able to make decisions that may not be immediately rewarding, but pay off in the future.
I think number 7 is going to hit home for a lot of people, and that is they don't waste time on unproductive meetings and activities. Break that down for us.
So high achievers are like skilled archers. They know how to aim their time and energy at the right targets. They avoid unproductive meetings and activities that are like shooting arrows at a target that doesn't exist. Instead, they focus on high-impact tasks that move the needle forward. This is something that I discussed in the 80-20 rule, right? This might mean saying no to unnecessary meetings, delegating tasks that can be handled by others, and minimizing distractions like social media and email.
Number 6 on the list is they don't stop learning. Break that one down for us.
Successful people, again, are like sharks, right? They never stop swimming forward. They understand that in a rapidly changing world, continuous learning is essential for staying ahead of the curve. So when we become complacent about gaining new knowledge, it's like treading water. We may stay afloat for a while, but eventually we'll start to sink. By constantly seeking out new ideas and skills, successful individuals are able to adapt, innovate, and thrive in any environment.
Okay, number 5 on the list is that they don't neglect their passions. Let's go into that.
Your passion is like the wind in our sails, right? It propels us forward and gives us the energy to overcome obstacles. So when we neglect our passion, it's like trying to sail without wind. We may drift aimlessly, but we won't get very far. And successful people understand that pursuing their passions isn't just a nice to have, it's a must have for maintaining drive and motivation. It's the fuel that keeps them going when the going gets tough.
Number 4 on the list is that they don't underestimate the power of networking. Can you open that up?
Yeah, I mean, they understand that no one achieves success alone. Okay, they know that building a strong professional network is like planting a seed in the garden, right? With time and nurturing, those connections can grow into valuable relationships that bear fruit. So neglecting networking is like trying to harvest a crop without ever planting the seeds. So by prioritizing relationship building, successful people create a support system that can offer advice, open doors, and help them weather the ups and downs of their journey.
Number 3 on the list is interesting. They don't ignore feedback or rely solely on their own ideas and opinions. What do you mean by that?
So think of them like sailors, right? Navigating uncharted waters. They know that they need to constantly adjust their course based on feedback from their environment. So ignoring feedback and relying only on one's own ideas is like sailing blindly into the storm. It's a recipe for disaster. So by being open to others' perspective, you're able to see the bigger picture, identify blind spots, and make more informed decisions. Isolating oneself from external input is like putting blinders on. It limits our vision and increases the risk of making costly mistakes.
Number 2, they don't dwell on failures. Break that one down for us.
There needs to be an understanding that failure is not the opposite of success, right? It's a stepping stone towards success. So successful people generally approach failure like a scientist conducting an experiment. They analyze what went wrong, learn from it, and use that knowledge to improve their next attempt. So dwelling too much on the past failures, like driving a car while constantly looking in the rearview mirror, prevents us from moving forward and increases the risk of crashing. So by treating failure as a learning experience and opportunity, successful people are able to adapt, grow, and ultimately achieve their goals.
And now, number 1 on the list, they don't procrastinate. Open that one up for us.
Procrastination is like the enemy of success because it prevents us from taking actions and making progress towards our goals. Just like a small leak can sink a great ship, small acts of procrastinations can add up over time and sabotage our efforts. So successful people understand that every moment counts and they make the most of their time by tackling tasks head on. They know that the only way to achieve their goals is to take consistent, purposeful actions even when they don't feel like it. So by developing the discipline to overcome procrastination, they're able to build momentum and achieve remarkable results.
That's big. As we've explored throughout this episode, the path to success is often clearly paved by the things we choose not to do based on what we see from this list. And from avoiding procrastination and negativity to embracing continuous learning and work-life balance, successful individuals seem to cultivate habits that set them apart in this way. They understand that true success is not just about what they do, but also, and in particular, based on what we've done here, what they don't do. So by focusing on these long-term goals, surrounding themselves with positivity, learning from failure, they seem to be able to create this foundation for lasting achievement. So the next time you find yourself facing a challenge or decision, ask yourself, what would a highly successful person not do? The answer may just be the key to unlocking your own potential and reaching new heights of success.